I'm going to start recording, even though this Zoom room is optional. I am still recording this video, so I can still pick up your guys' side conversations. So just keep them to a low volume while I'm showing some stuff off. Once you guys have the chance to work on your own individual stuff. Is my mic on? Yes, it is. Okay. Your own individual stuff, then you can, hi, good morning. Then you can chat to your heart's content as long as it is not distracting in the usual sense. Thank you guys. Okay, attendance updated. Let's get into the layers panel real quick. Oh, you might notice there's a Photoshop challenges sort of situation going on here. I am in need of some more YouTube thumbnails. Hi, good morning. I keep using my default. I know there's a couple in here that have already sent me one, but if I get some more, I can add that to the rotation and get a few more student works out into the world. You'll notice there's not a lot of decoration in my classroom. That's not your guys' problem exactly, but if you want to put if you want to make some posters that we could hang up in here, 8.5 by 11, we even have the large printer in Mr. Hendrick's room that we could make something happen. Then you can start seeing your artwork in the real world, in the examples. What's up?
If we do a YouTube thumbnail for extra guy, can we go over 100% in your class?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can. I'm totally fine with. If you do the extra work, I'm willing to give you guys the extra reward. And then there's also, if you are a part of a club or an organization on campus, or like a sport or something else that you find community in, if you want to make a social media post advertising that or explaining that or doing some type of communication, getting people in the know of what you do, I can send that post that you create to Miss Straits, who runs Skyline's social media. And then we can post that and you can start seeing again some more graphic design in the real world. So what I'm going to do is just open up Photoshop and I'm just going to start kind of clicking around. This is how Mr. Blakeney learned how to Photoshop, was just messing around, Googling stuff that I wanted to try to do. It's a process of exploring. It's a process of, getting it wrong, getting it from an experiential standpoint. I'm just going to create a new file real quick. Actually, no, we're going to open up. What example do we use for? I think we did this one for your class. Okay, so we have just some type of artwork that we're working with here. Use our imaginations. If you think back to some of the stuff on 8.2, layer styles is a way to just more further customize each individual layer. So if the only information you have on your scene is a photograph, when you double click on that to open up this layer styles panel, it's not going to really change all that much. You typically are going to be adjusting layer style stuff when you are. I just thought about how maybe I could switch my view so it's larger, but it's okay. We'll work with this. So each of these in the layer styles panel, I'll just break it down, is going to affect the entire layer that you have it selected on, with however many of these options, kind of like add-ons or DLC, so to speak, of additional set of styling and interesting stuff that you can add to your work so far. So since this layer currently only has a photograph from Unsplash, I don't think much is going to change when we start changing layer style. So if I add an inner glow, what happens? Set this to that. Yeah, there's not much going on there. Oh, it's faint. It was here. Let's do this. Set just some text as an example, so you can really start to see what we're working with here. So we're going to pretend that this text is some edits that I've made, or just some additional sort of stuff that I've put onto my document. This kind of looks like a Time magazine cover a little bit with this font and this. Hi, good morning. With this font and color. Let me update attendance real quick. This Zoom room is optional, so if you would rather just kind of mess around on your own time, you can. I just wanted to have a solid example of what we're doing, what this panel does. So when you double click on any layer, it's going to pop open that layer styles sort of panel. All right. If you look at text, there's a bunch of different options here, and it's going to give you a little preview in this window right down here of the thing that it's trying to do to the layer that you have selected. So once I check this box, if I click cancel real quick, When I repeat those steps, watch what happens to this text layer. I go into the text layer styles, and then I add this first one right here, bevel and emboss. It's going to add a little effects eyeball, and then nested underneath that, the actual effect that is happening to this layer. So there's all types of different stuff that you can add. We can add some depth to this emboss. Let's add a bevel, actually. And a lot of this stuff is not super like one use case fits all. You can see in the little preview how much stuff is actually changing down here in the corner. But this is just something that you want to mess around with, okay? This is the art part of graphic design, where you are you're really just trying to see what happens. There is beauty in the experimentation of it, and that's the part of it where the art comes out of. So this is just bevel and emboss. You can see how many different options there are there. You can change the shading angle. You're gonna see it's gonna reflect it onto the little preview here. There's so many different things you can change. You can change the contour of the way that the gloss, excuse me, is supposed to be happening. You can change the degree, you can make it anti-aliased if you want to go extra hard. There's a lot that you can change. It doesn't seem like it does much, but that's kind of the fun part of layer styles is once you check these boxes, you get access to more different panels that come along with it. So if I turn off contour or texture, if I go into the texture menu, I can select from a bunch of different patterns. Hi, good morning. And what I want you guys to do, thank you. Oh, gotcha. What I want you guys to do is at some point, just kind of click around these options and see what pops up. See what you notice that is interesting. Yeah. Like I mentioned yesterday, there's not really an assignment attached to this necessarily, besides me just wanting you guys to explore, because exploration is a good thing. Right, this was the stroke that we used the other day. Some of these you'll notice have little plus buttons next to them. That means you can add multiple variations, multiple configurations of different types of that effect. So now you can see we have 5 different stroke effects, and I can set each of those stroke effects to be something different. So if we make that stroke effect a little bit larger, hi, good morning. Make that stroke effect a little bit darker, maybe make it much larger. You can start to see some of the layering. It's pretty faint. Let's make it a wildly different color. Let's go a contrasting green. Make that even bigger in theory. There it goes. It's starting to come out. So we can just keep stacking these up. We'll go a random kind of pistachio. Okay, keep making it bigger. Go inside on this one. See what happens there. Interesting. Okay, and then like a lot of these explain what they do with just their name, but you will also need to just kind of get in there and mess around. And I have a video that I'm going to show you here just in just a second that talks about, with some better examples, what the layer styles panel can really offer you. The one that I'm using most frequently is probably going to be gradient overlay. I'm making a real nasty sort of text situation here, just so I can show you how much you can add. You can just keep adding them. There's no limit to how many of these you can add from a technical standpoint, but from a graphic design sort of execution standpoint. Sorry, did you have your hand up, Nunu? Okay. From a design standpoint, you don't want to go too crazy, but from a technical Photoshop standpoint, the options are pretty much limitless. So Photoshop has a ton of baked in and default type of gradients, so you don't have to do all the thinking yourself. We go into the basics, there's just black and white, all different variations of a blue gradient that we can add, or we can change it to a purple gradient. You can see the little preview is changing right down here. We got reds, this one looks cool. Grays could be fun. Give it a kind of steel or chrome look, right? Layer styles, you should have some fun with it. I'm not demanding that you have fun. It's obviously not required, but with the opportunity to not have to worry about a grade on something, you can be more free to experiment with these things. And then you can go in and change the ones that are enabled or disabled with by also clicking these eyeballs. Let me get out of this real quick. There we go. This looks kind of hideous, but it's okay. Okay, turn off bevel. Yeah. You can go through and it's going to remove those once you toggle them off. It'll remove them from your stack here. And if you ever want to see what each one is doing, you can always click these eyeballs and see what's happening in that realm right there. So I have this quick video that is also linked in the thread. That is just a bunch of different tips for cool things you can do with layer styling effects. And you can actually get a little bit more of a reference than what I have shown you so far. If you are interested in any of these extra credit opportunities, you can Canvas message me and I'll give you a prompt with some things that a client's looking for. And then you can start working towards the objective that the client, being me, has excuse me, in mind for what you're doing. Yeah, Tanner.
Like a team, put it together and they all get the extra credit.
Is that something that you guys are interested in? Okay. That could be arranged, yeah. We'll go case by case on that. Sure, yeah. Design is a group effort. So if you want to work with somebody, you have to contribute equal amounts, but yeah, we can do something like that. So Canvas message me if you're wanting to do it in a partner, in a pair, in a group of some kind. Let me know that as well. And then that will help me consider the scope of your project. Cool. Thank you guys.